Hello and welcome to my workout studio. It's been a hot second since I filmed for Armstrong, but here we are back again. So right now we're rolling from summer into fall and then into winter in Ohio, and it starts to get cold outside. So today's workout is going to be a little bit different because with a lot of my athletes who have been working hard all summer long, so marathoners, triathletes, even a couple of CrossFitters, they've been working hard all summer long at their competitions. So when I have a client come to me and they've been working hard that way all summer, I typically will phase them into 4 to 5 weeks of mobility, core strength, and flexibility work. Now, they don't always love this, but we stay away from the weights for a little while. This does a few things. It primes their body to get more results from weight training when we go back to it. And it gives them better flexibility and range of motion after having done a lot of repetitive type work over their summer months. So I find the winter time to be a perfect time to kind of ease into a new routine, or I guess late fall, when it's starting to get cold outside and you don't want to be outside as much also. This can also be a great beginner workout, or it can be a great warm-up for mobility work and for a heavier lift session. So if you are going to use this as a warm-up for a lift session, my suggestion to you would be that you only run through the circuits one time. We're going to be running through these twice, and some of them are slightly longer circuits. You'll still probably want water. You are going to need a towel or an exercise band, a resistance band, and you may want a mat for your floor. I also will prefer to do this barefoot because it's going to give me more traction for some of the exercises we're going to do. And you may also see that I have a step over here. If you don't have a step, you can use a coffee table or a low, if you have a low seat, a low couch, or even a step. I may be using that just for some modifications. So let's go ahead and get started. We're not going to do a whole lot of a warm-up. We're going to take a light jog here for a second. The idea just being still to warm up the body before we get into some of this dynamic stretching work. If you can't jog, or if this is even too much, you can take it side to side so that you're not getting any air time. But I'm going to go back to a light jog. We're going to be starting off pretty slow and easy with a lot of this. I'll be doing a lot of explaining for the first round through these short circuits of exercises, or these short blocks of exercises. Let's kind of roll the ankle here. So do some inward rolls and then go back out and then switch sides. Inward roll followed by outward. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and get started. You're going to want to find a wall or a table, and you're going to put your hands up against it. You're going to take your feet back, and we're going to start with some calf raises. So we're going to create some tension, and then we're going to go back. If this is too much for you, step your feet forward, make it a little bit easier. So we're going to do 10 calf raises. And then when you set down, I want you to try to get your heels all the way back onto the floor. So we're getting a little bit of work. Every time you squeeze that muscle and then release, the muscle is able to lengthen a little bit more. Here's 5, 6. I want you to really stay intentional as you're working on all of this stuff today. I want you to really focus in on how things feel in your body. All right, you're going to maintain this position, but now we're just going to step it out. And you should, again, feel a stretch back in the back of the leg. Keep breathing. If anything that we're doing today feels like too much of a stretch, don't go as deep into it. That's why I'm asking you to be very, very intentional and really feel the movement in your body. Because what you'll notice is that I may be able to go deeper into some of these stretches, but that's because I've been doing this for a long time. All right, I'm gonna shake that out just a little bit. And next we're gonna do something called good mornings. A lot of people do these with weight, but we're gonna do these without. We're gonna do 2 different variations. The first is gonna be a wide leg, so don't lock your knees backwards, but there also shouldn't be a whole lot of bend. You're gonna cross your hands over your chest, and you're gonna go down until you feel a stretch through the back of your leg. So for me, if I keep my back nice and straight, that's gonna be right here. I have to stop. I'm gonna come back up to standing. Drop down, see if I can get a little further down, come back to standing. So this should be a nice stretch. It should actually feel pretty good in the back of your leg. Make sure you're breathing. What you'll notice is that every time you drop down, because you're working the muscle and then stretching it and relaxing it, you should be able to drop a little farther. Let's do one more. And then you're gonna bring your feet closer together. Same movement, so you're gonna keep your upper body the same. Try not to let your shoulders round forward as you're doing this. Remember to keep your back nice and straight and your shoulders backwards, so no rounding. Up and feet together. It's gonna feel a little bit different with the narrow stance. Gets a little bit more into the calves. As I'm doing this, I'm focusing in on the feel I'm getting from my body and also in the breathing. You may find that some of this work makes you sweat a little bit, but we shouldn't get too terribly sweaty today. All right, we're gonna shake that out just a little bit. And since I have so many of these, I might need to check what we're doing next. Okay, so we're gonna be doing the low squat next. This is where you may want to have a step or even like a low chair handy if you are struggling with if you're struggling with low squat. So if you have good range of motion through your knee joint, your hip joint, and your ankle joint, you'll be able to get into your low squat and get your elbows, still with your chin up, get your elbows right in between your knees, and then we're gonna stand back up from there. If that's not possible, and you'll know right away, so be very careful dropping down into this, you may end up kind of like here. So don't push your body to go further than it wants to, especially initially. If you find the low squat very difficult, what I would have you do is find a step or a low table or a couch and have you practice from there, okay? So you can do your low squat from here. But if you're able to go low in your squat, just freestanding, that's good too. So we're gonna do 10 of these. I like to take a little pause at the bottom. Really allow that stretch to happen. Six, you will feel this in the thighs. We've got 2 more. And for those of you who don't do a lot of full range of motion work, even if you've been lifting weights, you may find some of this full range of motion work actually makes you pretty sore. All right, we are gonna be doing squat rotations next. So very similar, only now we're gonna be rotating our upper body through the squat. And we will do 5 each direction. So I like to start my hands here as I squat down. I'm gonna rotate to my left, come back up, and rotate to my right. If this hurts your spine, if you're getting shooting pains, don't do it. Just go back to your low squat. All right, and same thing. If you're struggling with the squat movement, sit down onto something. That's gonna put you in a better squat position. All right. There's 1. 2, I'm trying to focus on not letting my knees come in. They want to. 2. There's 3. 4. And 5. All right, again, you might need to shake your thighs out just a little bit there. We are gonna practice a lunge variation next. So once again, if you've been told that lunges are bad for your knees, you may want to not do this exercise at all, or just be very, very aware of how far down you go. So I'm gonna move my mat here. Move my mat just a little bit. And I'm gonna start in a split lunge position. So this is the easiest way to learn this. It can be helpful to have something next to you to grab onto. It's a good thing fireplace, good thing fire's not going. But it can be helpful to have something next to you to grab onto just in case you lose your balance a little bit. So I've got my left leg out in front of me, which means as I drop down, I'm gonna rotate my body to the left. If the rotation isn't good for your spine, don't do the rotation. So nice and easy. I'm gonna rest my knee on the floor if I can for a second. Come back to center and whoop, balance. Same thing. Open to the left. Bring them back up. There's 3. 4. And 5. I'm gonna switch sides. So I'll rotate towards you. So now my right foot is out in front of me. I'm gonna be rotating my torso to the right as I drop down. My knee touches the floor. If your knee doesn't touch the floor, that's okay. Do the best you can. There's 2. 3. 4. And 5. All right, you're probably feeling that some in the legs. We are gonna do some side lunges now. Same thing as the forward lunges. If this is not good for your knees, you may want to just take care. If you're not able to do the side lunge for this one, I just want you to put your hands on the floor and focus on trying to deepen that stretch. If you're able to side lunge, you're gonna start here and you're gonna walk your hands out towards one foot. Then you're gonna walk back. You may, as you're doing this, have to adjust your feet. Ideally, your trailing foot is going to stay flat on the floor and this leg will be straight. And you're gonna feel a nice stretch through the inner thigh. So we're just gonna walk back and forth. Make sure you're breathing. We're not trying to do any of this for speed. My cat is gonna photobomb us. What's up, kitty? One more each way. All right, come back to center. Drop down just for a second. And then come back up to standing. So that was almost like a good morning coming up out of that. Next, we're gonna do leg swings. So this is also where you may want to find a wall. You need to make sure that you don't have anything right next to you when you do these. So I'm gonna kind of use my wood burner again, being careful not to kick these stones. But the idea here being to increase the range of motion in your hips. So we're not trying to use strength. You're not trying to control the movement of your leg upward, because otherwise you'll feel that in the hip a lot. We're gonna use momentum to kick to the side and see if we can kick a little higher every time. We're gonna do 20 of these on each side. So find your positioning. You're gonna go across midline, kick up, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 15, 19, and 20. Now by the time you get to 20, you'll probably feel that a little bit in the hip. All right, now we got to do the other side. You'll find that one side is a little easier usually than the other. There's 3, 4, 5, 6. You may even notice that on my other side, I was able to get my leg up higher than on this side. There's 13. 19, 20. Okay, we've got one more in our lower body circuit, and this is really gonna work on balance, but it's also gonna work our upper body a little bit without the weights. I would position myself, if I were you, in front of a wall or have a chair with a back in front of you. So you're gonna get into, this is a straight leg deadlift position, single leg. Want to make sure just the tips of my fingers can touch my wall. And then I'm gonna pull back, almost as if I'm pulling on bands. We're gonna do 5 that way. And then we're gonna drop to here and we're gonna pull up as if we're pulling bands from the floor. All while standing on one leg. All right. So find your positioning, and if this position is too much for you, keep your foot on the floor. All right. And we're pulling that band. Catch yourself if you lose your balance. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hands down. Come up into a W. Squeeze your back. 2, 3, 4, 5. And you probably will feel that in the hip also. All right, now we've got to switch legs. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Drop down. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, go ahead and take a break. Grab some water if you need some. You may even need to catch your breath.
New unproven companies will try and tell you that their fiber network was first, or that it's the best. Well, here are the facts. Armstrong was the first in town with a fiber network, and more importantly, the only company with 10 gig extreme fiber. That means our Medina customers have the fastest internet speeds in the country. Other companies will talk. Armstrong has made it a reality. Armstrong. Unmatched employees, unmatched technology, unmatched fiber network.
All right, we're gonna do that lower body circuit one more time. We'll be able to flow through that a little bit faster this time, and then we'll move on to some other stuff. Again, if you are doing this prior to a workout, I would only do these circuits one time through and then go and do your normal workout. Or you could do these post-workout too as a cool down. So we're gonna start with our hands against the wall again. So this time, if you're feeling strong, try to get your feet a little bit farther away from the wall. And you're gonna get more of a stretch. Again, if that's too much, you're gonna take a big step forward. So let's go ahead with our calf raises. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And now, just like the yoga people, I think they call it walking the dog. We're gonna walk the dog. Getting a nice stretch here through the back of the legs. A lot of athletes are really tight in their calves. So these are really good stretches and dynamic movements to do. All right, we're gonna come back up to standing, and then we're gonna go with our good mornings. So again, we're gonna start wide on those. Arms are crossed over the chest. Try to keep the legs relatively straight, but knees not locked back. Drop down, but don't round the shoulders. Come back up. Drop down again. Drop a little lower if you can. Here's 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 more. All right, feet are gonna come closer together, more of a normal squat position. Same thing. I'm still pushing my hips backward a little bit as I do these. Just try not to bend the knees too much so that I get that full stretch through the hamstrings. I tend to be very tight in my hamstrings, so this is something I try to do fairly often. Again, the speed is not a good thing here. You want to try to feel that stretch happening without pushing it too far. One more. 10. All right, we're gonna go into the low squat now. So it's a little bit wider. My toes tend to point out naturally when I do these. You wanna try to keep your knees tracking out over your toes and keep the weight towards the back of your foot. Again, sitting onto a step or a low table. If you're really struggling with the range of motion, try to keep your chin up. You shouldn't be down here. If you're all the way down there, that means you don't have the range of motion yet. Here's 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 2 more. And 10. All right, next we're gonna be doing that squat with the rotation. If you need a second, you can kind of kick it out. You should be able to feel that in those quads. All right, same positioning, only now we're rotating each direction, 5 per side. And I'm not smiling because I'm doing squats. I'm smiling because I don't know if you can hear my cat in the background, but I can hear my cat in the background. Gotta love the animal support. All right, that was 5 each way. So we are gonna go into our lunge rotations. I'm gonna make sure this is out of the way. Make sure you're next to something if that helps you maintain your balance. If you don't need that though, try not to hold on to something. You wanna get yourself to the point where you're really maintaining your balance through these movements. Doesn't always happen, but that's what we're working towards. All right, so I'm gonna have my left foot out first, which means I'm rotating towards you. So hands here, drop down, there's 1. If you can get your knee all the way to the floor, very carefully set that knee down. This is where the control comes in. There's 4, 1 more. Okay, we're gonna switch to the other side. My right foot is now forward. This requires so much concentration. If you're doing this on your own, it's very easy to lose count of how many of you've done. That was 5, because you'll be concentrating so much on the feel and the slowness of the movement. All right, we are doing the side walks. So this is your side lunge. So we're gonna start center. We're gonna walk, and you may have to adjust your feet as you go a little bit. Walk out to one side. My right knee is bent, my left leg is straight, and we're walking to the other. Trying to keep my foot flat on the floor. One more each way. Okay. Remember to stop in the center. Give a little extra bow. If you're struggling to get up from here, you could scoot your feet in a little bit. All right. We're gonna do leg swings next. So try to find something sturdy to hold on to, a wall or a chair back. Try not to hold tension while you're doing this. You are using some muscle. All right, and switch sides. Kick up as high as you can. There's 20. All right. I have to kick out the hips a little bit. Then we're gonna do our single leg deadlift. This time I'm gonna do this right here with only my step in front of me, so I'm not gonna have anything to put my fingertips on, but I can still touch down on my step if I need to. All right, so single leg deadlift position. Find a spot to focus on the floor. Pull, 2, 3, 4, 5, and down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Other side. You will find that one side is much easier than the other when it comes to the balance aspect. 1, unless you've been doing a lot of this kind of work. 4, 5, and down. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, we're gonna take another break and then we're gonna move into a different circuit.
Armstrong has a long history of fighting food insecurity in our communities through breaking bread. We're excited to announce the results of our 5th annual Avenge Hunger Month. Armstrong raised over 19,000 pounds of food and over $14,000 in donations, along with 96 hours of volunteer service. Avenge Hunger Month proudly benefits over 200 feeding programs throughout our entire service area. Visit armstrongonewire.com/breakingbread to find a list of community feeding programs in your area.
All right, now we are going to move on to a circuit that's gonna work a little bit more of your core, and we're also gonna do some mobility through the upper body. If you have shoulder issues, once again, you have to really pay attention to your body and how it's responding to these things. If there is shooting pain, I would stop doing whatever it is that's causing the pain. So we are gonna start with something called a walkout. And I'm gonna get a little bit wide in my stance. You may, if you don't have a rug, you may wanna do this on a mat. My mats tend to stretch, so I'm gonna do this just on the hard floor. And this is also, again, why I like bare feet while I'm doing this. So I'm gonna put my hands on the floor. My hamstrings, after all that other work, are nice and stretched out. You're gonna walk all the way out to plank, and then you're gonna come onto your tippy toes and cobra. If this position is really uncomfortable for your low back, don't do it at all. You can also set your knees down on the floor if that's helpful. Then you're gonna come back to plank. We're gonna walk all the way back up to standing, and that's 1. We're gonna do 5 of those. So hands on the floor, walk it out to plank, come into cobra, back to plank, walking back to standing. That was 1. Plank, cobra, plank, walk it back, stand up. One more. All right, little pause there at the bottom. That was 5. All right, from there, we're gonna actually walk back out into our plank, but then we're gonna go into down dog, and we're gonna do the same exercise we did over there on the wall. We're gonna walk the dog, but in down dog position. So walking out to plank, push, back, bring your feet together, and you're gonna walk the dog. Again, focusing on really pushing that heel back so that you get a stretch through the calf. Try to let your head hang. If you're very flexible, which I'm not, but you can walk your feet back forward so that you can come back to standing. Otherwise, you can do it the less graceful way by putting your knees on the floor and coming back to standing. All right. We are going to use the mat next, or I'm going to. We're going to do an alternating Superman exercise that works the back side of the body. So it'll work everything all the way from your calves, hamstrings, glutes, all the way up through your upper back and your shoulders. So you're going to be trying to lift the opposite arm and opposite leg. And then we'll switch. So it's 1, 2, 2. We're gonna keep going. Each time you lift, try and lift a little higher. Almost there. That was 10. All right, what have we got next? Oh, the next one's pretty fun. You'll have to make sure that you have a sense of humor and laugh at yourself a little bit. If you are on a hard surface, this is also one you are going to want to have a mat to protect your back. So we're gonna do what's called a rolling V-sit. So for rolling V-sit, you're gonna try to bring your toes down to the floor. I can't quite do it. And then you're gonna roll forward and reach forward. So it's back, roll forward, control, reach forward. So you're getting all kinds of stretching and you're working your core muscles at the same time as you do your rolls. Try to control your roll, especially this way. All right, lifting, only go as far back as your back will allow. This is a nice back stretch. Reaching forward. Easy roll, forward. Every time you do that forward reach, try and reach a little farther. 4, and 5. All right, what other kinds of fun stuff do we have here? It's a good thing I have all of this written down. All right, we're gonna do a Pilates knee pull. So you're gonna start with both of your legs in tabletop position. Shoulders are off the floor. You're gonna pull one knee in and really pull that knee towards your chest. That way you get a stretch through the back of the leg, and then you're gonna switch. You will also feel this if you're pushing your low back into the floor. This is a great abdominal workout. Breathe. Almost. All right. From there, we are going to be doing windshield wipers. So you're still going to be laying down on the floor. For some people, this is not great for the low back. For other people, it loosens up their low back. So your arms are going to be out to the side for support, and you're going to carefully lay your knees over to one side. So you are rotating through your spine. Bring them back up to center and roll the other direction. If you're really struggling with bringing your knees back up, you may not have the abdominal strength. So you can always put your heels on the ground. It's gonna make it a little bit easier, and you're still gonna get that nice stretch through your spine. It's definitely a little more challenging with the feet off the floor. But we're not trying to necessarily make this about abdominal strength. We're trying to make this about spinal mobility. Should have lots of control. So I notice with myself that I can bring my knees all the way to the floor on my left side, but I really struggle to do that on the right. So I'm focusing there a little bit and trying to make sure that I'm dropping those knees evenly. All right, pull your knees in for a second, stretch out the low back. We're gonna come to a sitting position and we're gonna work a little bit on shoulder mobility. So you're gonna need to find a wall for this. And you know what? We'll just use this wall right here. You're gonna sit against the wall so you're still kind of getting that mobility through your low body too. You don't have to be sitting up though. Sit your butt on the floor. And you're gonna start here and you're gonna try to touch your thumbs together. Now ideally, you'd be able to keep your arms against the wall as you do this, but right about here, my elbows come off the wall because my shoulders are tight in the front. So we're gonna work on that a little bit. So think about trying to keep your entire arm and your elbow against the wall as you slide it up. Straighten, pull back down. The second go round when we do this, you may find that you already have more mobility through your shoulders just from doing one round. I always find with this mobility work that the first round is the toughest one. One more. And my left side is much tighter than my right. I can feel that I can keep my right and not my left a little better. So, all right, I'm gonna come off the wall. And then if you have a resistance band, a straight one that doesn't have too much resistance to it, or if you have a towel, we're gonna work on shoulder mobility some more. So you've seen people do the broomstick trick for upper body. If you have a broomstick and you've got great shoulder mobility, you can come all the way down and then go all the way back up. Towel's a little bit easier because it has a little bit more give than a broomstick. Same thing with a resistance band. So we're gonna practice that about 10 times. Now, if you can't get this all the way back behind you, don't force it. You may end up hurting your shoulder. Nice and slow. If you can get all the way down to back behind you, that's great. If not, stop where your body tells you to. And you'll find that the wider your grip on your towel, so you can see my hands are all the way at the end, it'll be a little bit easier. We're gonna do one more. All right, we're gonna take a quick rest, and then we're gonna run through that one more time, and we'll be about done for the day.
We're proud to announce that in 2022, Armstrong has been named Cablefax Independent Operator of the Year for the second time. We'd like to thank all of our employees for contributing to our success, and a big thank you to our customers for their continued support.
All right, we're gonna do that one more time. We're gonna start with the walkouts and the cobra. So again, walking out to your plank, cobra. Go back to plank, walk straight up, stand all the way up. That's one. Stretch down, plank. Shift forward to cobra. Back. There's 3. 4, 1 more. Pause at the bottom, roll your way up. All right, and then from there, we are going to our down dog with the walks. So I'm gonna walk the dog, I'm gonna walk myself back out to straight arm plank. This is my start. I'm gonna push back into down dog. I'm gonna bring my feet closer together. And then alternate, trying to put that heel on the floor. Speaking of dogs, here comes one. All right, you can put your knees on the floor because we're gonna go straight from here into our face down exercise, which is that Superman. So we're gonna go opposite arm, opposite leg. Try to keep your head in line with your spine so that you're not looking up all the time. That creates a lot more neck tension. Keep breathing. No. And sometimes your dog will help you and tell you, we were almost there. All right. All right, what are we doing next? All right. That's okay. Let's see here. All right, we got enough of those. So we are gonna go to our V-sit, the rolling V-sit. Now, hopefully the dog is gonna let me do this. All right, so for our rolling V-sit, coming back behind, as far as you can comfortably roll forward. 1. 2.
'Turn me up, baby, come on, turn me up, turn me up, turn me up, baby, come on.
4, 1 more. And 5. All right, the goal with that one would be to eventually get to where you can actually put your toes on the floor behind you. All right, then we're gonna go into our Pilates knee pull. So this will be here, alternating your legs. 2, 3. If you're a mom, you already know this is sometimes what you gotta do to get your workout in. You gotta work around them. Dogs and kids, right? Almost. All right, bringing the knees in, rest the head. We're gonna do those laying windshield wipers. We're gonna do 5 per side this time. So again, I'm gonna keep my heels on the floor this time because I'm feeling that a little bit in my low back in a way that I don't want to. Could be just having one of those days. That's why it's good to do this stuff so you really pay attention to where your sticky spots are. One more each way. Yeah, this feels a lot better for me today. All right, gonna find a wall. Make sure you're nice and close to the wall. All right, and then we're gonna do our sit. See, that's what she wanted. She wanted the mat. I'm getting much better range of motion through my shoulders this time around, probably because of the towel exercise that we did before. I'm gonna do one more. All right, then we're gonna come to that standing position and we're gonna do one more time through the towel exercise. So just remember to grab. All right, nice athletic stance. Start at your abdomen. Take it over straight arms. There's 2. 3. 4. And 5. All right, so with that type of a workout, where it's a lot of stretching, you may have worked some stuff out of your muscles. Sometimes you can actually even release emotions that your muscles are holding when you do this kind of work. So make sure that you take a few deep breaths. Make sure that you drink plenty of water, as you've probably moved quite a bit of stuff through. Take a walk today. I wouldn't be surprised if you're a little bit more sore from this workout if you're not used to doing this type of mobility and stretching work. Otherwise, I hope that you enjoyed this very much, and I will see you again soon.